Alright, so today we will be surviving 400 days in one block Minecraft. In this video, I have big plans. I want to build a massive flying ship, a build unlike anything I've ever done before. I want to continue to improve my automated farms and get maxed out enchantments on all my tools and armor. It's a lot to do, but I certainly think we can get it all done. Stick to the end of the video to find out. And if you guys like this video, please be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications, as it really helps YouTube to promote the video more. And with that, let's just jump into it. So like I said, I wanted to build myself a massive flying ship, and for that, I was gonna need so much more wood. But before we do that, we have to talk about today's sponsor, and that is Dragon City Mobile. Dragon City Mobile is a completely free-to-play game, not only for Android and iOS, but also for Windows and Amazon as well. In Dragon City Mobile, you can collect thousands of different dragons and even construct your very own personal dragon city. And if your army isn't large enough, then you can just breed your dragons to grow it even more. Plus, to even further help you out, you can train your dragons and take them into battle with you to level them up and make them stronger. And to top it all off, there are several different PvP modes where you can fight your friends to figure out which one of you is the very best dragon master. And you know, just for a little bit of fun, every single week there are new events like Maze Runner and Heroic Grid, so there is absolutely never a dull moment. Now, I gotta say, my favorite part about this game is just randomly running into like Dream or George Not Found dragons. You know, imagine you're just playing the game and then boom, Dream's there. Like, how cool is that? And on top of all of that, Dragon City has allowed me to help you guys out. If you click the link in the description, you get your very own free reward just for downloading the game. You will get 15,000 food, 30,000 gold, and for a limited time, new users will get their very own rare Citadel dragon. I've been having a lot of fun with this game, and you guys can too. So just go down in the description, click the link, download the game, and start your Dragon City adventures today. So I decided to clear out my farm of all of the trees and also remove all of this bamboo, as I don't really need it anymore, and we are going to expand our tree farm so that way we get way more wood way faster. I also removed all of this dirt from the bamboo farm just that way I could keep it. I had to be careful because dirt is a very valuable resource on one block because you can't really get it that easily. So once I got all of that, I filled everything in, and now our tree farm was basically completed. I also did want some dark wood, and I forgot that you needed 4 dirt for dark wood. Got all of that planted, primarily just spruce and dark wood, and we got that going. Next, I obviously needed a ton of wool for the sails of my ship. Unfortunately, I do not have any sheep to farm wool, and the only way that I can get sheep is by mining the one block and hoping that a sheep just randomly spawns. So I mined this block around 500 or 600 times or so before I finally got one sheep, and I just led them into the cow pen, and I did it about another 400 or 500 times until I had mined a total of 1,000 blocks, and we now had 2 sheep necessary. I did not need my cows anymore, as this was obviously going to be a sheep breeding room, so I just started getting rid of the cows, and I obviously made sure to set 2 cows aside, just that way in case I wanted to breed them ever again in the future. By now, all our trees had finished growing, so we started working on mining that, and for these days, I spent all of this time just preparing to build our ship. That includes getting all of the wood necessary and all of the supplies. This is all of the wood that we will need. Then in the other chests, these is all the just random stairs and fences and some planks. Here's some miscellaneous blocks that we're gonna need. Here's all of the spruce planks we're gonna need. And then once this entire double chest is filled with wool, that's how much wool we need. Clearly, we haven't made much progress because we're still working on breeding all of the sheep. Also, during these days, I had to move my iron golem spawner because it was gonna be in my way. So that took a couple of days to move. So yeah, overall, quite a tedious process throughout all of this, just preparing to build the ship. I also forgot that you needed grass for sheep to regrow their wool, so I did have to expand their pen, give them grass, replace the floor, do all of that. I also really quick started working on enchanting books so that way I can get unbreaking to put it on one of my pairs of shears. I don't know why, I just thought it would be nice to not have to make a new pair of shears every 2 seconds. So I did all of that. I continued breeding all of the sheep, getting all of my wool, finishing moving everything around, planning everything for such a long time. I even went to the end to get more shulker boxes to properly transport all of the blocks that was necessary, until finally we could actually start building this thing. So I grabbed all of my supplies in my shulker boxes, and we got to work on this part of our island. And right now we are just building the base up, and I'm not gonna build the entire ship in one time lapse because I'm honestly too afraid if the recording is was too long, then Minecraft would run out of memory and it would fail to save that replay. So here is me building just for about an hour and 10 minutes, and we've got probably about, I don't know, 40% of this thing done. So yeah, we have still got quite a ways to go from now. But the base is still pretty much done. I have to fill the top in all with spruce wood, then finish the captain's quarters up here, as well as some of the lower parts, and then obviously work on the sails and some future decorating. So I took a quick break, and then we got back to building. And obviously, like I said, the primary thing was filling the top in all with spruce. We decorated a bit of the floor a bit with some stairs, worked on, like I said, starting to build the captain's quarters and working towards building the sails until the ship was basically done, the lower parts here. I still do have to build the roof to the captain's quarters as well as all of the sails, but the majority of the ship is actually done by now. Throughout all of that, I did occasionally stop to grab some wool, so we were making progress on that, but yeah, we still needed a lot more before we could finish these sails. So obviously, while those sheep were regaining their wool, I worked on our ship even more, completely finishing up our captain's quarters and building the outline to where we would be putting our massive sail. I worked on the ship a little bit more and AFK'd for a little bit to just get a little bit more wool, and then we actually started building our sail. And I was hoping, you know, maybe we would have enough, and hey, it looks good. It looks like the ship is 100% done and nothing is left to do until you actually fly up to the ship. And yeah, I only had enough wool to get approximately half of the sail done. So yeah, that's something I'm obviously going to do in the future, not right now, but at least the part of the ship that is facing our island is done, so it looks really, really nice. And overall, I absolutely love this ship and how it looks. It's not really decorated any of the lower parts, but it still looks absolutely fantastic. And now, I know what some of you are probably thinking, but no, I absolutely did not make this ship design myself. This is way beyond what I am capable of doing. Since how this video is sponsored, I actually did decide to hire a builder to create this design for me, so that way I could put it into my world. So obviously, big shout out to the builder that I hired for this. No way I could have ever in my life done anything better than that. And I absolutely love this thing. It looks so fantastic. But I did want to work on some other things now, because I've literally spent like half of my days so far just working on getting supplies and building that ship. So for now, I wanted to work on actually getting fully maxed out tools and armor. And for that, we were actually going to need to make an XP farm. So I grabbed all of the supplies that I was going to need, and we were going to build the Enderman XP farm that I built in my regular hardcore world. I don't want to go too much into detail because, you know, I've already done this before, and I know a lot of other YouTubers have, so you've probably seen this before. But in case you haven't, I will just go over the basics here, where you tower away from the end world so that way no Enderman will spawn on the main chunk, and then you just build the area down here. This is where they all fall to, and then the carpet prevents some mobs from spawning. We build the actual tunnel where they'll be falling, and then the spawning area, and it's pretty much done. If you want the actual particulars, of course, proper credit in the description to the designer of this thing. I did forget to bring a couple of blocks with me along the way, so I did have to go back and get some of that. And by now, this thing is entirely done. We can just slap these Endermans, and they give us an absolutely ridiculous amount of XP. This thing is so fantastic. So, like I said, I wanted maxed out tools and armor, so I just started randomly enchanting. I wanted a maxed out shovel because that's something I didn't actually have at this point. I only had an efficiency 4 shovel. And just to show you how OP this XP grinder is, I just smacked around some Endermen for maybe like 5 or 10 minutes. I wasn't really paying attention, and I already gained 20 levels of XP. This thing is so insane. So I continued working on my shovel until eventually I had a fully maxed out silk touch as well as fortune shovel. And now I just need to do that for everything else. I need to get efficiency to max out my current netherite axe, as well as making a brand new silk touch axe, as well as other tools, until eventually we got it all done. As you can see, we got maxed out farming utensils, maxed out axes, maxed maxed out shovels, and I also got a depth strider book and added that to my boots because I didn't have that already. And we were pretty maxed out with enchantments. The only thing I actually did not have was thorns on all of my armor, but that's not really that important to me right now since we've already been at this thing for quite a while. I figured that is good enough for now and we can make our way back home. All that's left really to do is add mending books to all of these new tools. So I grabbed all of the emeralds necessary, went to my librarian, traded for those mending books, and applied mending to all of my new tools to the point where the only thing they needed now was to be turned to netherite, but that is a project for a later date because I don't really need nor want to do that right now. Next, I figured, you know what, this is one block. I probably should be mining my one block a bit more, so I figured we are gonna up this thing to 10,000 blocks mined. So we sat here for a couple of days until boom, there you go, we mined it out 10,000 total times. I went through all of the chests, just grabbing all of the loot that I wanted to actually keep because so much of this is useless and I don't need it. I then just connect my redstone contraption and that dumps all of the blocks that I don't need into the void. I can use my fortune pick to get even more ore drops from this, and once the droppers are done getting rid of all of the items in my chest, I can just break that redstone, put that back, and there you go, we're good to go. Next, I actually wanted to move my farm because it was kind of in the way of where my ship was. I couldn't really expand the farm any further because of it, so I figured we might as well just move this to a different place, and of course had to use the water to make sure to save as much of this valuable dirt as possible. And once that was done, I just filled all of this area in with wood rather than breaking it entirely. I figured we could put something there eventually, or even expand our sheep farm. Really, I could do anything, but for now I just covered it all up, and I figured we would actually make our new farm right off next to our storage base here. I didn't really want to get in the way of our tree farm or pumpkin farm, so we were primarily just going to be building this thing straight out from here. So I got to work on that with a ton of spruce wood because I had so much of this left over from building the ship, and I decided actually to build a base on this thing before putting all of the dirt in, so that way I wouldn't have to use water and float over the void if I ever wanted to break this dirt in the future. I figured this would be so much easier. So we got all of the dirt planted down, and then we mined out the outer layer of the spruce blocks here, and this is where we are going to put our water so that way all of the tilled blocks would be saturated. And I made sure to even cover the water with half slabs so that way the water is merely waterlogged into the half slabs, so that way the blocks still stay saturated and we can easily walk over them. And now we could actually get to work on planting these crops, which is primarily going to be carrots in this main area here because carrots are the most valuable crop that you can grow. But I did also work on planting some potatoes and just regular old wheat in case I should ever need that in the future. I also realized I should probably grow some sugarcane, so I grabbed some of the sand I had, broke out the outer layer of dirt and replaced it with sand, and then put sugarcane on all of that. And there you go, our brand new, better, and bigger farm is completely done. So we should be able to grow more crops now to get a better variety, so that way I'm not running out of food quite as fast. We got all of that done, went to sleep, and now I wanted to work on actually completing our ship. Unfortunately, we still needed an absolute ton of wool, so I just did random miscellaneous projects all around my base, one of which was making some more dirt. I didn't actually know you could do that, but yeah, if you combine dirt with gravel, then you can get coarse dirt, and if you till the coarse dirt, it turns back into regular dirt, which effectively lets you turn 2 gravel into 2 dirt. It is a little bit tedious, but I mean, gravel is unlimited in a 1-block world, since how you can mine all the gravel you want from the nether. So yeah, I didn't have to worry about saving dirt nearly as much anymore once I figured that out. So I went and used that dirt to actually expand my pumpkin farm because, you know, why not? I was just sitting around waiting for the sheep to regain their wool, so I needed something to do. So I just randomly did projects around my base and AFK'd a lot and sheared the sheep a lot. It was really tedious and kind of boring. I mostly just sat there tabbed away waiting for the sheep to regrow their wool as I was editing my previous footage. So yeah, one of the projects that I did do while I was waiting to obtain more wool is I decided to actually put a full beacon inside the ship, since how I had a ton of extra iron amassed from my iron golem grinder. So I got that all placed down and completely done, but obviously I don't have a beacon right now, so that's something that I will have to complete in these final days. But yeah, I got all of that iron placed down in the ship to the point where the only thing we need now is to put a beacon on top. Until finally, after numerous days, we had collected all of the wool that we need. We have a shulker box full of wool plus a little bit extra wool in our inventory, and that is going to be enough enough to actually finish this thing in. And not only did I actually just finish this giant sail, but I also worked on decorating the entirety of my ship, as well as decorating my pumpkin house, because that's something I have yet actually to do. So yeah, I spent several days finishing that sail, and then I will admit I did purposefully go kind of slow decorating the rest of my ship. A lot of this on top was already here and already decorated. I did add a little bit, but yeah, I couldn't really think of much else to do for these 100 days, so I took my time and decorated the ship to the best of my ability. I had a bunch of brown carpet down here, which I didn't have brown dye, so I also had to grow some jungle trees and farm some cocoa beans to get the brown dye. And yeah, we decorated the captain quarters with a nice little kitchen table style thing here. As I said, we've got the carpets, and then we also have the treasure room. We do have some yellow carpet to simulate basically gold on the ground. We have a bunch of extra iron and redstone laying around, an actual bed to sleep in. It's mostly iron and redstone blocks because that's the only extra blocks I really had. But yeah, that is the treasure room, and that is the majority of the ship that is decorated. Like I said, we also decorated our pumpkin house. This is the living room. It looks super nice. There's a TV. There's also a kitchen table, nice meal for two, plus a little kitchen counter over there. Going up the stairs, we've got some extra armor on some armor stands, because why not? We've got a desk with a computer where you can work at, and then some extra little loot stored over here as well as the bed. So yeah, got all of that decorated, worked on all of that, made everything look super, super nice and fancy and really cool. And now the only thing left to do was actually close out this video. And for that, I was going to need to fight the Wither and the Ender Dragon at the same time. So I really quick just went to the Wither to get the Wither skulls needed. And honestly, it didn't take me really that long because I just flew back and forth waiting for Wither skeletons spawn, and it honestly only took me 2 days to get these necessary skulls. So once we got that done, also something I wanted to do before we closed out this video was get another 1,000 blocks mined on my 1 block. We were at 10,000 blocks mined now, so we obviously needed to get up to 11,000, which I knew was only going to take me about 2 days due to my previous times mining the block here. As spending an entire day mining this block, you can get about 600 or so blocks mined, so I knew it wasn't going to take me that long to do it. And sure enough, nearly 2 days later, we got our way up to 11,000 blocks mined. Absolutely insane. So I spent the rest of this time going through the chest, sorting everything out, making sure I got everything I needed, as well as grabbing the extra supplies that I needed to fight the Ender Dragon in Wither, which is primarily making the end crystals. And as you can see, we went through the portal and a ton of these monster guards from the 1 block accidentally made their way in here, so I had to fend them off really quick. We threw down that end crystal, put on the Wither skull to make the Ender Dragon and Wither spawn at the same exact time, and I was ready for an absolutely epic battle between me, the Wither, and the Ender Dragon. But the problem is the Wither would not target me. I'm fairly certain this happened last time I attempted this, and I don't know what it is about this 1 block world, but for some reason the Wither never wants to target you, and it's only happening in this exact 1 block world. So I don't know why that is. I don't know if the 1 block world designer somehow changed something with how the Wither interacts with you. I'm not really certain, but yeah, throughout all of this, it absolutely refused to attack me. I had to chase it down for several minutes before we were eventually able to take it down. Then, of course, all that was left was the Ender Dragon, so I used my Elytra to fly around, take out all of the towers, shoot the Ender Dragon a bit. She eventually went down to perch, so I did some extra damage to her there. She popped me in the air, so thank you for that. Saved me from having to use some more of my fireworks. We then flew around and did all of the final damage with our bow. And there you go. We killed the Ender Dragon and the Wither at the same time. And I grabbed all of the XP because, you know, why not? I don't know why I grabbed this XP ever. It's not like I ever actually need it, but it's little green orbs. How can I not grab it? So yeah, I did all that, jumped in, and as you can see, we still have just a little bit of time before sunset on day 399. So I spent that time to make my beacon, put it down on the ship, but the problem is it wouldn't light because the wool and stuff was actually in our way above the beacon. So really quick, I just towered up with some scaffolding, broke the blocks above it, used a half slab to close that hole, and there you go. The beacon would actually light now. So I got that iron in there, powered it up, and we now officially have 3 full beacons all around our 1 block base. So I went back to my house, said goodnight to my pets Bucky and Sunny, and we went to sleep on day 399. So that way we've officially survived 400 days in Minecraft 1 block. Absolutely insane the work that we got done in this video. We built the most massive, insane build I have ever done in my entire Minecraft career. A giant floating ship, which looks absolutely fantastic. We improved our farms, we moved some of them around, we made a full-on XP farm, we got max out enchanted gear, we did a ton of decorating, absolutely insane. Also, again, be sure to check out the sponsor of today's video, Dragon City Mobile. Go down in the description, click that link, collect your free rewards, and start having an insane amount of fun today. I loved this video, I hope you guys did too. If you did, please be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.